If you love participating in BJJ because you think it's fun, because it's a great workout, or anything along those lines, then perfect. I agree with you, but BJJ doesn't work in a real life situation. I want to make it clear that it's not my goal to disrupt any legacies, to harm club attendance, or even to negatively impact the sales of rash guards. All I want to do is keep people safe. And that's why I feel like it's my responsibility, my obligation, to let people know that BJJ doesn't work. Why do people look to BJJ in the first place? Because of the success of cage fighting. And how did this even come to be? Well, back in 1993, Royce Gracie, a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, won the very first Ultimate Fighting Championship. So not only was this tournament won by a BJJ practitioner, but by this guy who was much smaller and weaker than most of the other guys. So you have this brand new, very exciting thing where these guys are just killing each other in a cage. This is far more barbaric than boxing, and people love to watch this kind of thing. And who wins? A BJJ practitioner. So that tells everyone, move over, Mike Tyson. All of a sudden there's a new baddest man on the planet.
How dare you talk to me like that?
Let's take a moment to acknowledge two very important rules though. Back in the day, you could not bite and you could not eye gouge. The rules today are even worse. You can't do anything, but that's a different video. Now, people might look at eye gouging and biting as barbaric, sloppy, and uncivilized, but those three things are exactly what real fighting is. Have you ever seen a real fight? They usually don't look like anything that you've ever seen on TV or in the movies. Usually the two people who lose their tempers and go at it don't have the presence of mind to choreograph their moves. When it comes to a real fight, you do whatever you have to do. I've been in countless controlled, friendly sparring sessions where there's a sense of respect and boundaries. But I have also been in situations where I have definitely eye gouged and where I have bitten people. And I would absolutely do it again because it works. And when you put a BJJ practitioner on a pedestal because he wins a tournament where realistic scenarios have been stripped away, then you're modeling your self-defense after someone who's not displaying true self-defense. What this guy is doing is participating in a sport. Now, if you want to call BJJ a sport and leave it at that, fine, I'm with you. It's fun to watch, it's fun to participate in. But when you call it a self-defense, when you call it a martial art, you're twisting it for marketing purposes, for a false sense of security, for a profitable ranking system. I don't know. But the BJJ that's being taught today is no longer the BJJ that would qualify as life-preserving self-defense. BJJ comes from Judo, which is a sport. And Judo came from Jiu-Jitsu, which actually was a martial art, but everything was watered down from there. I do believe that the ground defense found in BJJ has value and can play an important role along with other important aspects of other martial arts. But BJJ as a whole has been contaminated by the sport aspect of it. The same is true with Taekwondo. And now it looks like they're gonna have karate in the Olympics, and they're gonna go and ruin karate too. Now, I wanna make it clear that I do understand the original purpose of BJJ. A smaller, weaker person can defend themselves against a stronger, larger attacker by taking away their range and the power of their strikes. But this is simply going from one precarious situation to another one, a worse one. With the right training, you can use your speed, timing, footwork, placement, etc. to win against a larger, stronger attacker, or anyone for that matter, all while on your feet. But when your first and only option is to pull a guard or trip the guy to the ground, then you better hope that this larger, stronger attacker doesn't also study BJJ, therefore nullifying your upper hand and now putting you right back in the same place as where you started. But oh yeah, now you're also on the ground. You have to consider that a lot of the time, bad people have more bad people with them. That's just the way they like to travel. When you're on your feet, you can create distance and even use angles to place one attacker in front of the other to block his line of entry to you. But when you're on the floor, you're getting stomped out. There's such a rules and regulations mentality in the BJJ culture that they don't seem to realize that people are more than willing to break these rules and smash their faces in. And they feed off of each other because of this intense camaraderie to where it's almost cult-like. I don't know who's worse, BJJ or CrossFit. Have you ever been to one of those hybrid gyms where they're in the same building? And then you have these larger than life personalities in the MMA world, and they just totally fan this flame. And they think they're these untouchable modern day gladiators, and everyone wants to be like them. And then they go and they sign up for these gyms where you have to wear gloves. No eye gouging, no strikes to the groin, no headbutts, no fish hooks, no small joint manipulation, no strikes to the spine or the back of the head. Is this martial arts or is this swim class? I'm pretty sure they have the same rules now. I understand that the UFC has to have certain rules in place, or else people would constantly be dead. I know that. And if it's your dream to compete in the UFC, fine. That's great, do whatever you want. But when people participate in the type of training pretty much required to compete in the UFC, like BJJ, then sometimes they get these egos and they make claims like it's better than the traditional martial arts. And that's where the problem comes into play. I don't mind people running their mouth. That doesn't bother me at all. Some people just have to do that to feel good about themselves. But when an oblivious person walks into a BJJ club for the first time, when a child walks into there for the first time and they think they're gonna learn how to handle themselves in a real life situation, should it ever arise, that bothers me, because I know what's being taught there is not based on reality. It's based on money, spectatorship, and hype. If you love participating in BJJ because you think it's fun, because it's a great workout, or anything along those lines, then perfect. I agree with you, but BJJ doesn't work in a real life situation. If you have any questions or comments regarding anything that I've said in this video, then please feel free to leave it in the comment section. I don't really want to argue with anyone or make anyone feel bad. I'm just trying to provide some clarity and perspective as to what BJJ really is and what it has to offer and what it shouldn't claim to offer. I just think everyone has the right to be safe and to know the truth. And I don't think anyone can really argue with that. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like or dislike, comment, and subscribe. You never know when I'm going to be talking about your martial art. See you guys next time.